Everyone, we're back. Me and him are back, and we're back with you. And I know it's probably weird for you at home when you watch these videos and you're like, why does the dog put his back to the camera? I don't try to interpret what he does all the time. I largely have him down here and continue to apply mild pets to him because he stays unset that way. And I'm not above pimping out my dog for the sake of getting a couple of views. So now you know the reality of why the dog's on set, because I know that pretty much everyone in America likes seeing dogs. Today's video is how to find a good lender. And while this is not the sexiest, I mean, look, nothing that's ever going to be covered on this channel, if we're being honest, is going to be the sexiest stuff in the world. We're talking about real estate, everyone. It is not the sexiest subject matter in the world. It's pretty dull, but we're going to try to bring you real information that will actually help you. And one of the things that is very important when you go to buy a house, obviously this is not important when you're selling a house because there's no lenders involved, but when you're buying a house, your lender is a very, very key piece of the equation. And I do have some advice for you in terms of how you can find a good one, okay? You got two options. You can start by finding your agent first and let the agent refer you to a lender or lenders. Or you can go out and find a lender on your own, which will no doubt piss your agent off. And I'll kind of tell you why and give you the breakdown. So option number one, find the agent first, right? And then let the agent help you find the lender. This is advised. Now, when you buy a house, you need to think of it like you are assembling your little real estate team, okay? And inside of that team, you have a few key players. You have your agent, and you should think of your agent like the team leader. This is the guy organizing all the pieces. They're calling like a lot of the communication, like putting the puzzle pieces together. So you have your agent, you have your lender, which obviously critical component because they are the one getting you your loan. You are going to have, those are your main two people, but then you're going to have some supporting cast members, if you will. You're going to have people like your title agent or escrow officer. Those are really just terms that mean the exact same thing. We just call them a couple different things. They are important, but less important in terms of like you really like screening them. Title reps are kind of like title reps as a broadly, as an overly broad statement, okay? But again, very few of you who go to buy a house are gonna know, like, I wanna use this title company, just because why? Most of you don't even understand what they do, right? So let your agent dictate that as well. You're gonna have people like your inspector. You might have someone in there that you wind up seeing, like a transaction coordinator. That is typically someone for us who, kind of run some of the admin stuff, back end paperwork, things like that. You don't really need to concern yourself with that. But agent, lender, those are the primary two people that you're going to be dealing with. So option number one, let your agent help get you in touch with a lender. This is what I recommend, and here is why. Because that agent is used to working with that lender, okay? When you're forming that team, you want people that are used to communicating and dealing with each other. It is way better to have an agent and a lender that are used to working with each other for a couple different reasons. One, what if I need to reach out to that lender at 9 p.m. because I'm like, oh, we're putting in an offer right now and I realize I don't have the pre-approval letter. Cool. Like I need to have a good enough relationship with a lender because we do regular business together that I know, hey, if I need to call you at 9 p.m., that you're going to answer the phone, right? That is a big one because a lot of corporate lenders, hey, 5 p.m. rolls around, you're done. You ain't hearing to them from best case scenario 9 a.m. the next day, right? So it's little stuff like that. In a heavy seller's market, which it is right now, there's little things that you're probably going to want your lender to do to go above and beyond and try to get deals under contract for you. Like, hey, we just put in an offer on this house. Hey, lender, will you call up the listing agent and like build me up as a good qualified buyer? That is a simple step, something we'll probably cover in a totally separate video because it is, in my opinion, a often overlooked step that I think is very, very important that you should have a lender doing. Again, most lenders, I should say some lenders are going to be a lot less likely to do that unless it's like, hey, me and this lender, we work together often and I have expectations of you, because that's a lot of what it comes down to. The lenders that I work with that will know that I have expectations. I have standards, right? It's very simple. That's not to make me sound like, like tough guy or like, well, this is how we do things. It's not like that. It's just that like, hey, look, there's an appropriate way to do things. We have standards that we follow. And I know because we work together long enough that we're both sort of agreeing to the same level of operation here. So that's what you're looking for. You are still going to want to, you as the buyer are still going to want to vet that lender, right? You're going to want to talk to them, meet with them in person if you want, right? See what kind of effort they're willing to put in. You don't need to like grill them or anything, but just like, hey, make sure you have a good vibe about them. I would be wary because almost every agent is going to recommend that you work with a lender that they're used to working with because, again, it streamlines the process and typically is a lot smoother. But if an agent is pushing really hard on this and you're like, no, like I've got a buddy of mine, like he's going to do the loan, and like that agent still is pushing you, you should start at that point. You got to be like, my spidey senses are tingling a little bit. Like, why are you pushing this hard? Like, I get when you initially bring it up, I totally get it. But like, why are you pushing so hard? And I've had people I've known that have wound up firing their agents, and that being one of the key points was that, sorry, everyone, there's a dog nose that just, or dog hair that's just floating around on that nose. But I've known people that fired their agents because the agent would not get off this notion of like, you have to use my lender. And the answer is, no, I don't. No, I don't. I can use whoever I want. And if you're getting to that point where you're having that friction with your agent over this point, you probably need to reassess that relationship, okay? Option number 2 is you can go find your own lender. This drives us nuts because typically it's not so much that we care if you use a lender that's not one that we're used to working with. It's because oftentimes you choose the wrong people. It is very common that you will go to either the bank that you use for your banking, right, or a local credit union, or you are going to call some company that you've seen on endless commercials, and you assume because you see their commercials, because they pay whatever TV station insane amounts of money to become like the go-to lender for that TV station, you assume that they're good. Not so much. And what you largely wind up getting yourself involved with is like big, more corporate institutions, and it is not typically advised. Sometimes it's feasible that you may get better rates doing this, and I say may very loosely. Sometimes credit unions will have the best rate, but the problem is the quality of service will drop. And while that may sound to you like, oh no, I only care about like saving that last $7 a month, I get it. I get your point, right? Like you're a capitalist and you want all the money that you can get. Cool, I'm with you. But I'm telling you, especially in a competitive seller's market, the service that you're going to get really does matter because you're going to need lenders that are willing to hustle for you. If a lender is paid salary, for example, aka they're getting their check regardless of how hard they work for you, this is not the person that I would probably recommend that you work with. You will almost always, 9.9 times out of 10, get a better service from people that have to perform in order to get paid. These are just things to keep in mind, right? The other thing that you get is when you go to the big banks of the world, like the big TV commercial lender that you see, is because I don't have a relationship with them, I can barely get them to call me back sometimes. I've done entire deals where the deal got done and not once did I ever talk to the lender. And it's not because I didn't try, it's because I tried and they never got back to me. And that's not good. It just kind of shows you their hustle effort level, and you need to be cognizant of that kind of stuff because look, if they won't call me back, who else aren't they calling back? You think that they're calling listing agents for you and saying like, hey, my client submitted an offer. I just wanted to let you know, like their credit's awesome and they're like totally pre-approved and they're good to go. They're not going to do that kind of stuff, guys. And I'm not trying to like shit on big banks and stuff like that. Although, I mean, I think we kind of all do if we're being honest. But the hustle matters. And again, all the lenders that I would work with, and hopefully most agents out there work with, do have some level of hustle. So these are just things to keep in mind. Just keep in mind, ultimately, guys, it is up to you. We can't make you do anything, but typically you're going to have a better run at getting a house if you say, hey, look, let me get in touch with an agent that's going to be the agent that I want to use, and let me lean on them to help assemble that real estate team, right? We're like the point guy on the SWAT team, kicking in the door and then going in and doing our shit, right? So like, let us help assemble and lead this real estate team for you. That's what we are here to do. That's it. We did it. Okay, so thanks for watching. I don't know if anyone gets anything from watching these. What are we at, like 6, 7 views a video right now? But we do thank those 6 or 7 of you that watch this stuff, and we like to think that there's some helpful stuff in here. Subscribe to the channel, please. It actually does help. The sooner that we get to 1,000 subscribers, the sooner that we can monetize this bad boy. And let's be honest, every creator wants to be able to monetize their channel. So thank you for that. If you need real estate help, we are based here in Utah. That's where I sit right now, is around Salt Lake City. And we can help connect you with different agents and stuff in different cities. So pretty much anywhere in America that you are, if you ever need help, just reach out to us. We want to be a resource for you, and that's that. Thanks a ton. Hope you're getting something out of this, and we will see you soon.